Huh. Where the hell? Okay, X. Thinking. Now, where did we last left off? Episode 5, Day 3 Investigation. Dear God. February 24th, 2:12 p.m. Wright and Cole offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm so sorry for what my sister said. She confessed that she forged evidence right on the stand, and it started a huge uproar in the courtroom. That's what happened. Sorry for what my sister said. That's what happened. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. Hey! That's just the way it is. We did it. We had to do in order to get him to get the verdict he deserved. And that pissed off everybody in the courtroom. Hi, Quilly. I don't know. I never knew what the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings, but me. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. Anime! Yes. Anime. Alright, I need water. I need water! Water! Shit, I should have refilled, but oh well. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all here in that file. Joe Dark, Black's Piston, was prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. Well, what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night that prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. Help me! Why? So that means you. Yes, I was a witness to the Joe Dark. I didn't see that one coming. You are related to the incident. I need to ask you. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Dark. It seemed that he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. Nobody is playing Watch Dogs 2 with me. You really want me to play, do you? I don't know what's going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to make me a hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the light went out suddenly. A bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then, it turned a permanent picture burnt in my mind. I can't still see it now. A permanent picture? I don't remember the moment when Mr. Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime. Made it up? I mean, you mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. No! Crying. Lana forged the evidence, and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes. But I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known it was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, it's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold just like this today. She must not have been able to face what she did, especially to Emma. What did you see in that instant that crime occurred? Dark knocked down Miss Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that incident. I tried, but the words wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14. That's understandable. An ability to articulate. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I would become a scientific investigator. I wanted to be able to fight crime with my testimonies, and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That's why Lana would never have forged any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about this crime. Something puzzling. There's something puzzling, Emma. What is it? You said that you were in Lana's office at the time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course, this happened at the police department. He tried running away about halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way to your sister's office? Because the detective offices in the questioning are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly, did I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective? I better have another talk with her. Ha! Lana was a detective. Everybody was a detective! The attention center visitor's room. Lana! Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble, falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh, how about how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about the unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have the right to know, Mr. Wright. Tell me everything. Please, and thank you. A lot of revelations were uncovered in the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lena. I believe no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Oh, well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police farm. Tell me it's not true, Lena, what the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lena, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lena so phased before. Detective Lana Sky. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. They still talk about that case she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was a deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reporters could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming the prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you can use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes. Deputy Chief Gant and I share the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective women, whose case it was, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. He asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. The first one at the scene. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down and then fled the room. From there he ran straight to the office shared by the Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you're the first person to run to the scene, Lena? It appeared so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and I smelled blood. There are 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems that Officer Marshall struck the final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma and carried her out of the room and just held her. Can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Joe Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in this SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this case was also involved in that incident, just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall, yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gann and I shared. The office that Mr. Gann now occupies himself, the chief office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Okay. Let's see. Prosecutor's office, underground parking lot. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. They must be where the detectives are. Well, we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered on the evidence room at 5:15. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway on our case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. That's where we found that note. 29, the SL9 note. The case was transferred the day of the murder. Never knew the SL9, the Joe Dark killings. Everyone in the case heard this had to be more of a sheer coincidence. Edgeworth's car. This rope, isn't it? Yep, they later outlined the victim's body. So wait, the victim must have died when the killer closed the trunk on him? You've got to be the only person I know that come to that conclusion. Body was found in Edgeworth's car trunk. Dang it, I need more water! Ah! And the lock on the trunk was broken. So the question is, why did Miss Sky choose his car? What car model was it? I think it was called a sedan or a coupe, something like that. Those are car types, Mr. Wright, not models. You're a guy, aren't you? Mr. Wright, you're supposed to know all these things. Maybe it's about time I got my driver's license. Oh well. High Prosecutor's Office. Is age worth a rand? Yes, no. No, yes. Room 1202. Mr. Edwards isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. He took a real beating in the court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Alright. How do I get to the chief's office? Police department entrance. February 24th, police department entrance. There's Marshall. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera, sera. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy tried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. Why? But Miss Marshall, why'd you do it? Why do prosecutors head west? If ever there was a case I need to know the truth about it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Miss Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Nope. Dark trial. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean, fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon, you mean the switchblade knife with a broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But, in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means that there was a good chance the knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report, it was finally submitted that the possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that SL9 left behind? Prosecutor Marshall. I got the looks, but He got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old is your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded with the highest honor that very day. The highest honor mean? The King of Prosecutors Award. I knew it. What are you looking at me for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day of the SL night incident took place. That was on the same day as... That's right. That was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years ago had gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. Scars. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Mr. R was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they're careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Gant and Skye? The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and his second command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. And the case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that you mention it, Emma said that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret. It had all started 2 years ago. What was it? So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's only one thing for sure I found out in that court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him the evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Something tells me Damon is the one behind everything. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. What the hell? Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Shit. Criminal Affairs Department. February 24th. Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. This place is pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Chief. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying she did us a decision about what to do, about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media on the tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going in than saying Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to just go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there. That's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Just go to the chief's office. Just do it. Sure, why not? Just walk in the office. February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office. Huh. I knew it looked like a church. Somehow, because you looked like a priest. Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out the pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in Garnetzx. They used to call me the Little Miss Bach. I thought it was... Jeez. Oh, God. I never could remember where C was. Hmm? Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. You put that paper he was reading on the desk. So, righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate it. I've had my hands full, too, with Miss Marshall's misconduct. And Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean that forged evidence. 2 years ago, 2 years have passed since that incident. How time flies. I see the big picture on the wall over there. That picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He looked like commemorate work together. And there's something off about that picture as well. The urn. That unstable jar that hasn't been broken. What the hell? It's actually there. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it. Photo picture. It's that jar in the back right there. You have anything to say? Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's get out together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? This case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting at hand to attend. Oh, great. We can't use the office. Looks like we aren't welcome. Seems that the case isn't over with yet, after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the Chief's office. Can we ask you? February 24th, Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, pal, Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From the sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sound like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No, why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it boils down to. The falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Dang it. Edgeworth's crisis. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. That guy's a guilty party here, isn't she? Regarding a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with the talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe, I know, for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes sir, let's go for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes sir, you gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay Dick? Yes sir, it seems like you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. After all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. The after 9 incident. Actually, I took a look at those files earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find anything? The only evidence Dark left behind was the final attack. His final attack, you mean? When he killed Prosecutor Marshall, he was trying to protect some girl. Me? It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was a girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, well, let's see. I think it has something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forgot. It looks like it's all written in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe you should show him the murder weapon. Might jog his memory. Talk about this. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. The businessman wanted to make him take to serial killing. One day on his way home from the work, he hit someone with his car. With his own car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed a lady who saw the second crime. The jogger came upon the scene and he killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Sometimes he was seems he was a careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence, so he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last witness. A.k.a. Emma. I should show him the murder weapon to see what I can get out of him. There you go. About this, hey, there's a tag attached to it with the label SNI incident on it. I believe this might be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since the case was closed, the knife was locked away in the locker. On the day the Detective Goodman was murdered, they suddenly disappeared from the locker. And was found at Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it. Now remember what the incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, detective? Quick, before you forget again. The murder weapon. This knife. It was Joe Dark, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store that he bought it at, plus it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice it. Yeah, well, anyway, take a guess where the broken tip-off was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it, inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Neil's autopsy report, stabbed in the back, died from puncturing the heart and lung. A knife tip was found in the wound. Switchblade, the broken tip was found in the victim's body, belonged to murdered Joe Dark. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not about money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The Chief's out now, and his office is locked. But we'd like to take a look around if it's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What? Really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was a Jeff Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, gumshoes are our only chance of getting in that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. Like what? What would get him to change his mind? He's been setting up for those files. Something wrong with that truth. You can find it. Pretty big deal. After that, the serial killer is on loose. There's evidence to not prove. So there's gotta be something I can get to convince him to live. Huh. This picture, that jar is there. The same jar that I have. Date and time of death, February 19th, between 7 and 7:30. Cause of death, single stab wound in the heart. Long assessment, died from blood loss in under 10 minutes. Weapon found and wound was missing tip. Okay, so I gotta move somewhere to get him to talk. But what will convince him? Okay, underground parking lot. Is there anything in the high prosecutor's office? Ooh, maybe Edgeworth might help. I wonder if Edgeworth's back. There he is! It looks like he's writing something. What? What are you doing here? He's sure quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past few years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Edgeworth, I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. All he's trying to hide is real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. I want to talk to you about a few things. There is no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I do can erase the fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility is the prosecutor in charge. The fact remains that the same no matter what excuse I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work, so tell me why. Why does it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of commotion bottled up. Tomorrow's trial. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial, and now this one, it seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out of the trial. That would make it too easy for me. Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what superiors are banking on. I never thought that the case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists? That is odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture, something strange about it. Picture. Could you tell us what happened again about that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony of the station, right? I never cared for ceremonies, but I attended that one. Because you were awarded this, those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning and drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends and clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah! Chief Gann asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here because of the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you? That's right. Huh. Something off about this. This picture was hanging on the wall of Chief Gantz's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall just started making a name for himself. Looks like it was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors Award. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. This one is a shield, but that one looks like it has a sword behind the K. What the hell? It's a little different from yours. Yes, you're right. Why? I remember now. Remember what? That was the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. King of Prosecutor's Trophy. That award originates from the ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first meaning halberd, and the second meaning means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure. Everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it for Emma's sake? Very well. Long ago in the Kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claims would slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield that he claimed would withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyways, you mentioned the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed out this doubt, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Halberd and shield. A halberd that can break any shield, and a shield that can block against any halberd. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and the broken knife symbolize... Precisely, they symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. But it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if the results in something is as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, why is you're only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gantzx. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the ward abolished. Why? Chief Gantzx. King of Prosecutors' ward 2 years the halberd was removed in the Chief's at Gantz's behest, giving its current form. So... Something tells me I gotta go back to oh! February 24th, Prosecutor's Office, Underground Parking Lot. Excuse me, is that Star? It is Star. Hi, Star. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Miss Star, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are a curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up the case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred the very day the evidence of the case was due for transferal. This can't just attribute to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know the little scene that I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with the knife? No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. The Star hatred toward Lana. It all dates back 2 years ago. Dark Investigation. Joe Dark, that's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for a half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a hot bowl of gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, although he's been going through hell. You mean because of the brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all more desperate. Her? Lana Skye, my sister? The best were put on the SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gantz. After the case closed, that legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned. You mean the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it's obvious that the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found suddenly would appear, while our other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that, all this, Save Goodman was relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Even Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana Skye always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used? Legendary duo. Demon Gant and Lana Skye. Dang it, I need more water! At least I'm not stuck on a heart. Gant led the investigation with Lana in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Demon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. His magnetism? By that I mean his ability to extract evidence. He produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence? You don't mean... Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him though. I take it it's what she's talking about, the forged evidence. Back then everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall, when Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever have recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Being used. Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right, having solved the FL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one else could stand in his way. Detective Goodman, the prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for certain. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her charge. Hi-yo! Hi! At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, Rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create a fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. I've already showed you all this. This? No. Come on, there's gotta be something else. Okay, so there's nothing else I can say. Police department. Move. Wrinkle. No. Detention center. Nada. Can I talk to anybody? I gotta check. Ooh. Oh, we got to do. Police station, criminal affairs. Oh, you're back. You're still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Bring copying files. I'm turning to be a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that GJ. I think she's thinking of another GJ. I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck of the line. That office is the last crime scene. I have to take a look in there. There's gotta be something we can use to make the detective change his mind. Nope. Nope. Okay, this. Nope. Dang it. Okay, this. I've already shared it. This. This. Come on. You know Officer Marshall? Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. When I first started, he even gave me a small cactus. Really? He said Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles. Knows herself, Detective comes to talk to the cactus. Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now, someone out trade places. What? Why are you looking at me like that? He's not a patrolman anymore. This unstable jar. About the jar, I think I've seen it somewhere. Somewhere? Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most... There's something that makes me feel uneasy. It's like the chief's... I'm in the chief's office, and yet he's yelling at me. Chief's Gant? Where could I have seen that before? Evan's locker. No locker can be opened without a fingerprint match. Besides, there's no reason for the murderer to touch his own locker. Hey, wasn't your locker the one with blood on it, detective? The handprint of the real murder... Blood prints without any fingerprints? Shush! If they come to arrest me, you'll defend me, won't you? If that ever happens, I think you'll do better than with that shirt. Okay, this. This. Oh, a lost item report, huh? You're very impressive. You knew this right off the bat. Well, I'm a master of misplacement, you know? Master that has such a cool ring to it. The way I see if things are meant to be lost, then they're meant to be lost. There's a higher power at work here. Wow, higher power. Maybe I shouldn't let them hold any evidence. Screwdriver! Oh, hey, that's fingerprint too. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth gave it to us. He did what? All I have is some flour. Are you okay, detective? Quick, run! Achoo! What happened? If it's any help, one time took a nap on the bench with pain. Why am I not comforted? ID card report. There's that ID card report, right? Yes, there are only one lover left to investigate at 420. The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive office number. 77777. That's 17 too many, Detective. An executive officer. I just might have a hunch. Is it Damon Gant? Is it Gant? Is it Gant? It's Gant! I can go around detecting blood traces as well. Wow, is that a new type? I've never seen that bottle before. Add 3 inches to your base height. Base height? Let's see that. Looming tall. New and improved growth formula. You mean this can't detect any traces? Well, it's not quite the same thing as luminol. That's why the lady at the counter had a smirk on her face. The switchblade knife. About this? Hey, is that... This has a take... Instant. I believe this might be the broken murder weapon you're speaking of? What were you doing with that? Ever since the case was closed, the knife was locked away in the locker. What was it? What was the victim's shoe? The photo, anything you tell us? All the stars with the lady. Really? Oops. Okay, so what do I gotta show? What do I gotta do? Gotta be something. Card. You can do anything they say. The card is never scary. It's only scary because you keep dropping your card. I'm gonna save this conversation. Hey, that's it! That's the King and Prosecutor's Award that Mr. Edgeworth got the other day. Of course. I just didn't say this design is based on the old Chinese parable, right? Yeah, everyone knows that. There was a dragon. Yeah, that's it. A dragon. He had a thing for shields, see? That's not exactly the version we heard. No, but this one sounds more exciting. Anyway, it kind of gets gory after that. I'll spare you the details. Alright, what car is that? The Blue Badger. This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was a guardian of bloodstain and the evidence locked worth his life. That's more than you can say about most officers that day. What would say that's a lot of trouble if you didn't guard so well? I have to admit, she's right. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15. What do I do? Where do I go? Who do I talk to? That must be the cheat. You're staring at the screen so hard. What? Dark case may have been fabricated? That's enough. Never thought. Now there's guys who cares about his work. Police mascot. Blue Badger. There's gotta be something I'm overlooking. But what? The detective desk, there are so many computers files, they're a lot tighter than expected. Yes, the detectives don't spend a lot of time at the desk. You. That must be one of the detectives. He's mumbling something to himself. Oh, Francisca, you're more lovely, marsupial, and quiet. We'll spoil the moment. Now hold me close. This approach should last for more intrigue. Seems he's given up on the mystery genre. What the hell? What the hell? Sky! What do you have to say? You know what? Screw it. I'm looking up the walkthrough. I don't like walking through, but I'll do it just to find the piece of evidence to get into Damon Gantz's office. Okay. Day 3 investigation. And there's a day 4? Shit, this is a long case. I'm just 3/4 finished. Dear God. Police department entrance, criminal affairs department. You got the autopsy report, switchblade knife, dark crimes for just an average businessman, prosecutor's high office, forged evidence, prosecutor's office, learn a lot. Being used, police department, criminal affairs, present Edgeworth's letter. What? Oh shit, I actually, yeah, now I see what I have to do. Okay, now I know what I have to do. I'm gonna go back to that. Examine. Pick up the piece of paper. I was wondering if he was writing before. Come on, Miss. Take a look. Mason Morrison. Is this frickin' Fortnite? Or is it Undying Light? If it's Fortnite, I'm saying no. But then you know 2K. What the hell? Mason Morrison. WJB Ace. What the hell? Ace's party. What the hell? Join it? I'll see what's going on. Join! Give it a second, I'll join these guys on. Hello! It was Fortnite. It was Fortnite. Yup. Well, one of them was playing Fortnite, but well. Let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe at the window there? Oh no, I think he's falling on the ground. Hold on. First time, let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I walked has just been one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh. I think he's serious. Mr. Edgeworth, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, however, you use it for anything. Disregard the lever, he's serious. Shit. I know who I'm going to give it to. Without looking at the walkthrough. Although I have, I'm gonna give it to Gumshoe, because he cares about Edgeworth so much. Let's crumble a piece of paper. No, no way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was cold as ice too, but I know different now. He trusted us, Detective, to provide him with sound evidence, but we betrayed him. Detective. That's it, I made up my mind, but... Here, take my ID card. You can't do it. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me, I'm no secret, I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? But at least let me do this for Edgeworth's sake. Alright, Detective, thank you. Gumshoe's ID. I'll just access his PD. I'm just curious. What is his ID number? Detective Gumshoe is very photic. Just won't do his face. Look at his eyes are half shut. Yeah, his mouth is half open. Hey, each of his shirt buttons are off a notch. Yeah, he's a narrow end of his front tie. I think he goes beyond photogenic issue. Okay. Now we can go back to the chief's office. But I want to save it first because anything could happen. Alright, get back in there. And search what's up. February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Click. Beep. It worked. So we can get in there. So he saw paper go somewhere on the desk. We're in if anyone finds us now to check out Gumshoe's Goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Eek! Gah! Hey, depressed guy. How are you? Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah! Detective Gumshoe. What are you doing sneaking up on like this? I was sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point of us giving you a card? Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered unusable in the pocket. Hey, don't do that to my card! I hardly ever get a chance to come in here. I'm fine, I lied, I'm dying inside. You're fine? You're lied, you're dying? So I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Nah, if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. Okay, the safe. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe, the word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, let's see, you say so. Looks like the code needs to be entered for this panel to open. What kind of code? A 7-digit number. I think I just might know what it is. Input number. You know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know! You want to try my book date? It's... I think... I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. The last number. The 7-digit number. Code confirm access granted. Holy shit, it worked! Bingo! What number do you enter? This one. At the top left. It worked. I somehow knew that was the only number that was not used. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was it, pal? 777. The final ID code number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered that day. You mean 7777, that ID number? I think you're 17 shy this time. This can only mean one thing, that Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside? Oh, yes. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a shard from the broken cup. It somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in there, too. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth. With a handprint. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. I think the chief made up the design. I don't think so. Oh, well, it's just a thought. Isn't that? This is what it's all in the safe? Apparently it's empty now. A piece of cloth and a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup. Hey, look at the piece of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with the case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great, now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to that SL9 incident? Come on, there's gotta be something I can show the detective. I think it's this urn right here. There we go. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember the three of us back together, those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't there a piece of evidence from that case? So that jar was right side up. Huh. That's right, one of the shards that SL incident. Doesn't it ring any bells? You know the fragment we just found? You mean this one that was in the safe? Yes, this one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Assemble the fragments. Here, let me see the shard. There's a crack on it. Go ahead, pal. Show us what the rookie can do. Right, here's some glue. If I can put the pieces together again, I'll prove that Chief Gant was knowingly hiding this evidence. Here goes. Okay, I think this is it. There, it fits like a charm. That of course, Chief Gant will willingly know that this piece... In other words, he can steal a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But, hey guys, get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached, it's different from the others. What the hell? There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line. That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in a safe? Unstable jar, evidence from the SL9, final fragment in Chief Gant's safe, blood traces. What is this? Why was it a line? Hey, look here, it's hard to make up, but there's a dark red stain here. Huh, looks like blood. This piece of Chief is different, though. The blood stains on the other pieces are just spots. But this one's a line. That is odd. Was it trying to be a name or something? Why was this handle broken off? Huh. Examine this. These shelves are almost empty. Landrust will clean them after it's transferred to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the shelf. Hey, this is what Lane and I went to the theme park. Outside. Look at the giant window. Makes you want to crash through it and jump outside. This is the 15th floor. I know, I was just saying. Saying what? Ever since making detective, I always dreamed about doing something like that. Just fly outside the window and land face first on the pavement. So long as he doesn't go crashing through the window when he gets fired. Don't say that. The desk. Over here. This was Lana's desk. It was sure tidy. Lana has always been a meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No, Chief Gant must keep it clean in memory of her partnership. They were the stuff legends are made of. Does he even keep a memory of her, or the memory of the crime? The picture. Right up here. This is taken on that day 2 years ago. The day that Joe Dark ran out in questioning the room and tried to kill Emma. After receiving his award trophy, Miss Marshall took a picture here, and went along with the Chief Gant to question Dirk. Then he never knew he'd just be dead a few hours later. Gee, you think? At church organ. The Chief's organ sure is sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building. When the detective screws up, the Chief calls him to his office. They make them listening to the organ for hours. What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except the ringing in their ears. So it's an instrument of punishment, literally. But aren't there Chiefs are so affected? He never listens to anyone anyway. That's besides the point. This thing right here. It's suit of armor. This is real news, isn't it? The armor of these weapons? Sure it is, pal. The Chief doesn't care for imitations. But first the pipe organ, now this armor. You know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone in this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it, I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. Shush, be careful what you say, who knows? The Chief may be hiding in the armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out, you guys don't know how scary that guy can be. The desk. I saw him put a paper... Wow, look at the side of the Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of, when we were here earlier... Oh, Chi-Chi. He put the paper he was reading in his desk. What paper was it? I wonder what he's reading. This looks like a list of evidence. A list of evidence? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as though. Hey, look at this case, the same name. Huh? SL9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective, what did you just say? I said I wonder what... No, absolutely... About evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long. That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-size list of evidence. The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it! The Chief must be hiding something about the case. It would appear so. List of the evidence incident, it was ripped in half, so this part is all I got left. By the size, we found this inside the drawer, a list of evidence from the SL9 case. Mr. Edgeworth had the other list. What would this list be doing here? We better look at the... I better take a look at that list. What the hell? Why is this on the other side? I wonder what this is. It looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here. What is it? Did you find something? I can't make it out, but I better keep quiet about it. Huh? Oh no, it's nothing. Why are your eyes moving like that, Mr. Wright? I better not forget this picture. Why is that on the back of a list of evidence? What the hell? That's like the same picture that Emma had. Alright, save it before anything else happens, because you never know. Yeah. Talk. Chief's office. Was that your sister's? Yeah, it's just where I was waiting for Lana. On the day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. As a stray regional leader here, he leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk. No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who was in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to take a look around, right? Because it's one of the best... I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why did you ask? You don't think? Nah, you wouldn't be. No! No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay, now then, let's look around. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Hey! What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go of that. Sorry, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? Oh, I do. What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do you think of him? Chief Gant. So it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings yet. There you go, ignoring me again. The evidence list. That was what Chief Gant was reading before, wasn't it? You know, when we first came in here? Yeah, it looked like the right side of the form has been torn off. So Mr. Edgeworth really has the whole thing. Nothing else would bug me more than that. Take a look at the back of that form, pal. The back? I think it's best if I go speak to Edgeworth, like, quickly, before anything else happens. Okay, you have the other side of this. Got it. Right, please, I'm the prosecutor in this case. You don't expect me to sit here. What side are you on? Show the best evidence I can get. I already talked about this. He's gonna talk about the Chinese parable. Skip it all. Thank you. Okay, there's gotta be something else I've overlooked, but what? Gotta go back to the office. You know what? Fine, I'll look at the walkthrough. Chief's office, Chief Gant. Examine the safe. Get the number, the ID number, the executive control. No time for chat. Examine the safe again and find the broken piece of jar, piece of leather. Okay, present the unstable jar. Some of the fragments, it fits. Now for the cloth. Present the fingerprint set. Oh, so I gotta use a fingerprint. Oh, I get it. Criminal affairs. Move to the chief's office. So I gotta use... Present the fingerprints for what? This. Here we go. Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some prints? That's a great idea. Alright, go down. Sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking your hand out like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take. Huh? Come on, this isn't time for jokes. We're talking about the cloth we found in the safe. Oh! Haha! I needed that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, what's your sense of humor? Wow, okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. And once they've been absorbed the prints, what are you talking about? Where are you, my mom? I don't think I have to be told. Alright, let's get this over and done with. Give it my best shot. That's kind of a result. Won't be good at matching prints. Well, it doesn't look like we'll get a clear result from this. Okay, let's try a different finger. So the right index finger doesn't quite do it. The thumbprint? What the? Give it my best shot. Kind of result. Doesn't look like we'll get a clear result. Let's try a different finger then. Okay, so the thumb, the middle finger. Come on! Even if we can't get a partial off of this. Ooh, I think we might get the middle finger. Okay, who matches with this? No, not Bruce Goodman, not Gumshoe, not Lana Sky. It is Lana Sky! Match found. What? No, it's Emma Skies, her little sister. No, how can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Those fingerprints, where are they? Huh? Oh, they seem prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought it'd be dark print. Says, hey, you over here. What's going on? Where are you? The camera's in the chief's safe. Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Piece of cloth, but what bears Emma's disguised prints? Found chief's prints. Evidence for something, but what? Well, was I any help? Of course! Thanks for your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. No, that's not very kind of you, is it? Uh-oh, in other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Uh-oh, we're here. Eek! She can't! We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out the window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then, I thought of a certain detective. Don't you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry, you in the coat. Me, sir? Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir! Oh shit, he's fired, is he? Now get out. Yes, sir! We'll be on our way too then. Wait, you without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like a word with you. But sir, I'm not licensed. You with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright! Shit! But at least I can preserve the evidence. Sorry I had to leave her behind, but I gotta preserve. Look, pal, I told you once 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, did you? I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but I knew it would be like this. I never would have said that. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gann was hiding in the office, I think I'm starting to get the picture. But why has she kept eerily silent about this time? Anyway, you listen to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the Chief again. Later, pal. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. February 24th, Detention Center, Visitor's Room. I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in the court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you I can. What you've told me over these past couple days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who's been lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job entering you. I'm rather jealous. I seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth, once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term you used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. Keeping quiet. I have to admit I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted that you did it, yet there is no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion, a certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, who may ask this person you're speaking of? The one who am I supposedly frightened of? It's Damon Gant! Well, Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, you're addressing the Chief Prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more what you think you know? Damon Gant. We were partners until 2 years ago. I respect him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both of you and Edgeworth will be brought before the Board of Inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course there are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of the investigation. Yes, but also one other, Damon Gant. Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Dean Gant falsified evidence in the case. This! I just found this in the safe in the Chief's office. This jar piece and the piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking the blame for him? I need to pay again. You know what? Be right back. 1 second. Back! There, now I can focus a little more. Now tell me where you're taking the blame for him. Touché, Mr. Wright. Says if you surmise, I cannot disobey the Chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. In the murder, Detective Goodman? Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Orders. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miss Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct! I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered the murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer, Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my own hand. And that's the reason for the bandage on your right hand? Yes. It seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me as I plunged the knife in. Miss Starr, huh? So that was a ruse to cover up the real murder. Why did you need to hide Joe Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with it. So you wrapped the knife in the scarf and hid it. In Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right, then I called my sister to tell her what happened, and I asked her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling? The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least I thought I could trust him at that time. However, it seemed that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean, not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems that he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room? I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. What? Tomorrow's trial, there's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. The trial former. Should I look at the walkthrough? Trial former, trial ladder, ladder 2. God, last 3 parts of the trial. Dear God. Okay, here we go. The final push! Can I do it? Without a walkthrough? February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Ooh. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth, knowing you've already figured it out. Who the owner of 7777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. It's Damon Gant. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only real reason the trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there is still a room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. It belongs to Damon Gant. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. Any event, once all doubt has been removed from the list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right, and the chief prosecutor, Sky, will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much, that's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? Maybe I'll get help from him. This is it. If I'm ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement, but before, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. You're behind this, aren't you? Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, have you been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my own work. Yeah, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? You want to keep looking and acting mysterious, or do you want to say something? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted a request. In this case, it would save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like to put an immediate end to this trial. What? Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On the February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No! She just confessed right off the bat! Why? No. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In the case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana, Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. Shit! The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like to render your verdict now, if you please. No. I'd like to hear everything first. You're not gonna cut dry. Well, defense has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't... Even if I can't have anything to say, you're just gonna overrule everything! It appears it's time for the verdict to arrive. The court finds the defendant. Nope. Edgeworth's gonna object. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, Why don't you keep your mouth shut? How about now? I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Ant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you had me to be. With this sudden confession of the defendant, it's obvious that to me some kind of deal is struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As is the first witness, the prosecution would like to be called Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That is okay with you, Chief Ant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this, mark my words. Yeah, well, guess what? We're gonna hear what she says anyways. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Ooh. Finally, we get to say something. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. An occupation, I'm Alana's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes, I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead us to the truth behind this trial. Witness testimony 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised his knife and then stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. Stabbed in the chest, huh? Well, according to this, single stab wound piercing the heart and lung. I thought he was stabbed in the back. Punctured, stabbed in the back. Well, I've already found it. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. But I do! Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Okay. Fine. Waiting in my sister's office. I don't think I need to ask anything else. I just need to go straight to me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that incident. The man raised his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. Stabbed Neil autopsy's report. Stabbed in the back. Objection! Why did it not work there? Why? That's a clear contradiction! Why? You know what? Fine, I'll press everything. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective of the police department, correct? Yes. Maybe if this game teaches me anything, it's not to cut corners. She was the second in command of the deputy chief of police Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they share the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing the organ. I wanted to play it that day, too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came through and took me hostage. Hold it! That was Dark, wasn't it? A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have had a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he went into Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noises coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me. Comma. Hold it! What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume this would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When the Dark grabbed me, I thought I was good as dead. Then, that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened to him then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Hold it! What did you see? Can you tell us about that? Miss Marshall jumped on Dark just when the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, the lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in the room, then you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but then the lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image seen in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes. Detective Goodman, he was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more? So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes. That's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew the picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, will you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of the scene once, but it seems to have been lost. I think I have a picture of that scene. But I'll press it anyways. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I wanted to do everything I could help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken. But I drew it, I swear, I'm just not imagining it. This picture, that never true, that reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again. Anyway, let's continue. The scene that printed... Can you please describe it to us? That man. There's a knife and stab. I drew a picture of the scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Okay. If I'm wrong, I have racked up. It seems to have been lost. The picture of the scene once... It seemed to have been lost. No, it hasn't. The pictures are on the back of the evidence list in black magic marker. I've got a very bad feeling about this. Objection! There we go. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart in drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence. Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Aha! What's this? Yes, what is it? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Indeed, 2 men appearing to be wrestling here. What's that meaning of this? What are you trying to do with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge would have access to that list. Huh? These lists. They're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed to 2 years ago was incomplete. These 2 lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here, where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Order! Order! But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because of what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If that list is torn in half, then that means... Your Honor? Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. What the hell? Is that the blue badger? That's that thing! That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. The evidence list restored and updated in the court record. What? Very well, witness. Will you testify about this picture drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seems to be thinking about something when she is looking at that picture. Like the blue badger? Emma's picture. There's a picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright I could see mere shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in this instant. To think of such a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Okay! Don't rush to fracking. This is a picture I drew 2 years ago. Hold it! You can draw this picture right after the incident. I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. After first I saw state of shock, I couldn't do anything. After that time, the investigation team was already organized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Sky. 2 or 3 days later, the memory should still have been fresh in mind. Excuse me, witness? But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? The flash of lightning was so bright all you could see were shadows. Hold it! So that time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright that I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away and turned around. And that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma, I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after that lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. Hold it! You mean you didn't actually see the murder take place? No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Oh, wow. Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Something tells me I need to save it. That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene of his printer mine, and yet there's clearly a contradiction here. Okay. The picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Hold it! Sorry for asking so many times, but why are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. I wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I better watch out or he may find some way to cut off my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives. So I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something about this that's bothering you in the picture? Huh? Oh, well. That's strange. She claims this is exactly at the scene that was imprinted in her mind, and yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instance. Okay, what is off about that? Nope. That's not the only thing you saw in that instance. That's why you had another picture here. No objection! Shit! The picture shows exactly what I saw in this instant. Friggin' hell, I'll use the walkthrough. Just go to the walkthrough! I missed picture, cross-examination. There is another one. Okay, denies it as with concludes. Blah, 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 blah. When I saw the picture, raise a knife. Edgeworth is adjusting the picture. Wait, what? Phoenix then recites the story. Present Neil autopsy's report. Oh! After this... Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So I got it. Stabbed in the back, died from the puncture in the heart and lung. And knife. Objection! Okay, I had to use the walkthrough for that one, but I had to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be easier if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of the picture contradicts the autopsy report? The knife. You're stabbed in the back. You know what? Use the walkthrough, just to be safe. Because I don't know. Picture shows that the knife was already broken, but could have been broken before. The knife! The contradiction, of course, is this here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see that its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look close to that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. You see the murder weapon? This tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off by the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark's murder. I'm afraid it's not that simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, can you see the problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be What? If the murder weapon was used once, it should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Nope. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. What does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body, and the only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. Nope. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at that time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. What if there is? Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be a piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny that possibility. No! Ah! So the evidence was mishandled. Order! Order! Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me once again to go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King Prosecutor's award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It was my belief that somewhere in the story there's a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are your chances of being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been another one? I'm not looking at the walkthrough, so I'm just looking at the live stream live count. Emma's mistaken. There's no way she could have, so there is another one. If the witness is adamant about the accuracy, it can't just be explained away by a simple observation error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, Then I'm gonna have to save it multiple times again. That you have information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Here's a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Wait. I have an idea. I think that's it. Why? No, wait, that's not it. The halberd was removed, advanced, gave it to her. This is it! Oops. I'm sure it's not... Shit! It was already broken prior. There's only way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. This is it! The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. Ah! What is it, Mr. Wright? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case. The knife that witness saw with, in all likelihood, from this award. Order, order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As a reward, he was given the broken shield and knife. And when he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in his dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Richards? Because if the King of Prosecutors' reward knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor is the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been too eager to jump to conclusions. What? Wait. I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Richard. What is it? Could you show your evidence list again, please? The list? The one with the picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list was torn in half at the time I drew this picture. At this time, I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside of me. Perhaps it would be best if I had this witness testimony. Will you please tell us what you recall, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First, the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. Oh, great. Emma's recollection. When I saw the man raise his knife, I panicked, and I rushed towards both of them. And I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He was in the room, but I was sure I saw his shadow. The blue badger? What the hell? Was allegedly dancing in the evidence room at the time. Huh. The blue badger? What the hell? Try impossible. The chief of detectives haven't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. What? Well, Stop! Please, don't pursue this any further. Why? Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain sitting in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I'm already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Skye, we've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Emma's recollection. When I saw this man raise his knife. Hold it! When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark? Yes, I think at least it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage immediately preceded the incident. It also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then I panicked and rushed towards both of them. Hold it! What made you decide? Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems so convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know at that time, when the Dark guy knocked down. All you could think was, I've got to help the other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Hold it! What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly, what I did. It's all kind of a blur. Miss Skye was almost killed before she was witness to the murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. With what you did was very brave, young girl, so then what happened next? Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the Blue Badger. Hold it! Are you sure about this? Of course I saw. I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief detectives who had thought of this hideous piece. And that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know, it sounds so strange. I was surprised when I saw him at the police department. And I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember. Oh, brother, just when you thought you hadn't caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't even in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. Hold it! What shadow? His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But that's what's important is what caused her to think that she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? 3 creepy horns. What do I know that has 3 creepy horns? Weird prongs. No. No. Maybe. I'm thinking. So by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. Was it that urn that fell down? What really saw in the lightning flash? Who is the Blue Badger really? I just might know. Blue Badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture, yet she's certain she saw his shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright? In this room, very well, Mr. Wright. What is the witness who saw that instant? Please show us the mysterious Blue Badger look-alike. It was this urn, wasn't it? Here you go! The mysterious Blue Badger was, in fact, this! What exactly is this? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the Blue Badger. Indeed, it doesn't look as it stands now. It's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? I've got to show them the correct angle. I think it's like this. Here you go! This isn't right. I've got to make it look more... Gotta find just the right angle. Come on! Show it like this. Something like this. There you go! Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the Blue Badger. No. It can't be! Proving the impossible. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witness on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoy Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? Oh shit. I didn't think that far ahead. What do you mean? So the Badger was actually a jar. What is this? Nope. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Richard. You see? This changes everything. Indeed? Well, very well, then please tell us. What difference now is... the murder, the location... the murder weapon. The murder weapon! I'll just... allow me to take these in turn. At least the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At the very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Very well, knowing this, where could she have been when she saw this jar? Where? The location of the jar is taken on the day of the crime. It's on the shelf of the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Atlantic Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Nope. Yes, and these two facts that reveal that actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Atlantic Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Atlantic Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what the reason was, Mr. Wright? I don't know. I don't know, but I gotta figure it out. There is a reason. Why was there a reason? I finally figured it out. Because Damon Gant was... finally trying to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said that she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now, tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact of the man when he was knocked against the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, may I draw your attention to the picture once more? If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting in, what would he have hit? Ah! The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there's another possibility that actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless... I don't know if I can go through this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If the events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming that Emma Skye knocked away was actually a prosecutor... Assuming that the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually prosecutor Neil Marshall, he would have been thrown into the suit of armor. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Thud. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with their own testimony. This is unprecedented. Objection. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered prosecutor Neil Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago, then the reason you moved prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about Emma, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Wright, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe her insane allegations, I'm afraid you're gonna have to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove with this evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I think I do have evidence. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Found Chief can't cite evidence for something, but what? The handprint. Clear handprint can be seen on the leather cloth. The print belongs to Emma. I'll just keep this information to myself. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has to be a wild goose chase from the beginning. So how the hell do we get information? Touché, Miss Guy. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, there's only a possibility for you. I have the proof, a message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murder's name that the victim... I gotta keep it to myself. For the real murder's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. Do I prove it? Doesn't exist? No, there's no way a dead person could tell the murder's name. Well, it looks like as far as we can go this. Mr. Wright, you disappoint me. I never thought you would be the type to let your feelings call your judgment. My feelings? If we overlook the victim message, one thing will be written, and everything will be lost in darkness. So I actually have to present it. Perhaps the thing that really is the clue I'm looking for, this is it. I can't afford any more mistakes. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murder? Do not be mistaken, Miss Guy. Our purpose is to not accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us a piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Should I do it? Is it this? This is a message from the deceased. Right. Now then, this is a message from the judge. Oops. I guess that wasn't right. Shit! Fine, load it. I fracked up again! It's in the evidence. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. The message is already in possession, Mr. Wright. Will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murder? Do not be mistaken, Miss Guy. Our purpose is not excuse. There's only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Was it this jar? Because why would there... It's the jar, isn't it? This! This message... Is this the Blue Badger from before, right? Oh, he's going to just speak the killer's name? If that's the case, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten about this is a jar. A message was left here on the surface of the jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on the jar. I don't know whose name it is. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yet, there's a line drawn here in blood. So what you're saying is someone tried to write a name here. Is the dots were once lines? Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to leave a message. One that apparently wiped away. The blood must have seeped in the jar where the lines changed direction. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become clear. No! Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe that these bloodstains will reveal us to the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make a letter. There's only one thing that the victim should have written it. His murderer's name. Oops. What do you think? Yes? Shit! I'm teaching handwriting to a student who is all thumbs. Shit! These dots. Shit! I'm friggin' up and loading again. Alright, save it at this point. That's right. What kind of message should the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make the letters. There's one person the victim could have written, given the circumstances. His murder's name. So... just connect the dots. I'm not even looking at the walkthrough. This is just what I think it is. Here we go! It's the defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocent. That's why I've been thinking about saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. To indict Emma. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skies. Shit. Seaworthy can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gant, do you understand what the implications of what you done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Duro Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Ack, yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Nope. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on, prosecutors? They might have sentenced an innocent man to death. How can he just stand there? Order, order, order! Order! Crap. Got everyone. Gavels pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Can I finish this in all one sitting? I bet I can. I bet I can finish the whole episode right now. Or at least in the next hour. February 25th, 1206, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around while on duty. And on top of that, you call me here and I've seen happier people at funerals. Take it. Leanna's having you run errands again. Let me tell you this. This is the last time, pal. Here. She asked me to give you this if there was ever a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about that just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right? It seems so. You could at least study some of the evidence law. Really? The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you this message. The message? He said if you're planning on take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him? I guess I'll need to get this book a thorough read. Evidence law from Miss Sky explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Rules for submitting evidence. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence must be relevant to the case on trial. Shall not be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence must be relevant to the case on trial. Unregistered evidence must be... Something tells me all that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, Detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all those allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else left there is to do? Your credibility has all been ruined, but this forged evidence that you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out, well, she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Time to shut it all up. February 25th, 1252, District Court, Courtroom number 9. Court now reconvened for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, ahem. Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, ahem, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witness. I didn't say that. It's just that you see everyone's been talking to Anne. Very well, Your Honor. I have one solution. Solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? So that means I gotta call a witness! Unbelievable. You're gonna throw that Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. But that means I have to call a witness. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. That is settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Okay, I think I know who to call. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is good as over. The defense calls. The time has finally come to bring out the real murderer. Damon Gant. You! Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with this thing? As a defense partner 2 years ago? Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he would still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. The Chief of Police. This is where it all comes to an end. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of joke? Practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Again, Edgeworth has trouble getting people's names. You're worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. You're here as a witness. Don't think you have any sort of ruling. So you want to play hardball, huh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine, my name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto! What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. Nope. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You're aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Is that a threat? Well, then all kinds of cases, you better frickin' testify! Weapons. Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. In other words, don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. So in other words, if a witness can retract his right to testify, he can't undo it. So if it's gone forever. The SL9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. The power outage didn't help either. We went to my office. I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, it had nothing to do with the forgery. I didn't ask if it was a forgery or not. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seemed Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seemed pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast before he pulls out. SL9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. Hold it! As I recall, the ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lannis guy also present in the room? I don't remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. Even though she was there in the photo. To make a long story short, we slipped up, the power outage didn't help either. Hold it! So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that! The elevator stopped working all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not a shock to Neil when that night went to his heart, though. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Hold it! Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and the serial killer were lying on a heap of the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. Hold it! How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it was already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes? Anyway, he's just denying that. As you can see, it had nothing to do with the forgery. Hold it! So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can't understand how Lana must have felt. While moving a body and hiding the evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that really what went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you better stare up the court record. Worthy, always a smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana didn't admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. Oops, you can see it had nothing to do with this forgery. I'm thinking, there's gotta be a forged piece of evidence. Okay, what links a piece of cloth, wasn't it? Okay, what was forged? A list of evidence at SL9. Half of this list was found on Gant's desk, so... Objection! Got it! I didn't look at the walkthrough, so good, thank God. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself! Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list, for example. The list that Emma Skye drew her picture on? This was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of this jar that was sitting in your office was found inside your safe. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant? These are articles of evidence uncovered in your office. Are both concrete proof that you also played a part in this illegal investigation. The Chief of Police is connected? Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admitted then that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy? Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding the piece of evidence found in your office, and in relation to the forgery that took place in the crime scene. My! Kids these days no longer know how to put together 2 and 2 together. Evidence and forgery. Let's see, what is it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Then there's no reason I'd participate in forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me. Anyway. Okay, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You understand that I'm Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Ooh, indeed, I believe I'll press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but will you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, gee, in return, though, I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? Okay! For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Hold it! They were found inside your safe. I appreciate that if you stop making ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day I was broken into a cattle ranch and tipped. Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry evidence in, do you? If you have proof to contrary, you're gonna get let. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'd be talking about when Righto's prints were found. Yes, if they are found inside my safe, then it would prove his investigation was illegal. Grr, I never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. Hold it! What do you mean by that? This is purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. No, but it would constitute concealing evidence. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not thoroughly speaking, Righto. It all depends when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after the Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Hold it! What makes you say that? Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered at the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Nope. Oh, and that wouldn't be convenient. Right. The Chief is talking about possibilities. As long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Righto. Think about it. There's no reason I participate in forgery. Hold it! I think there is. How can you look me in the eye and say that? You're not even looking at... Because I'm innocent. You're not even looking me in the eye, remember? Who is it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Hold it! Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you reap from all this. I was wondering, what is this benefit? That would be, of course, the position you have, Chief of Police. Because if it was in your office, some people would suspect you. Oh, the resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That, in itself, is sufficient motive. You profited off of it. Ho, ho, ho! Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Gah! But be careful in pointing out the finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. IG, wouldn't you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. I really want to have... I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there wasn't nothing for me. Hold it! Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax on yourself, though. Ho! 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 Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, because someone been helping him out? Yes. True, you might not help anyone out for their sake, but it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it would appear you're possibly determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean! Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief may have helped forge evidence? Lana Skye. This one! Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant? Oh, I actually got it right. Thank God. I believe it's quite obvious, in light of circumstances, that Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own little sister Lana? And as if for Chief Gant, who would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh wait, you must mean... Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her! Righto, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this that I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect... No. There's no way she testified against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof this amounts to nothing more than conjecture. Unless that is what happened... That is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Or which one would it be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The muffler. I think I know what it is. It's the murder weapon that was hidden in the cloth in the muffler. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. She was under orders from Damon Gant. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to watch you get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! 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 I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in a law enforcement agency. To accuse the Chief of Police of blackmail and murder? It's impossible! Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in an easier to understand language. Shit, you're gonna make me take a run. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? Prove that Lana Skye was being controlled by him? That the Chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. This one! because his number is 7777. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one who shows up. The one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list. We couldn't determine the owner of it yesterday. 7777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that my card's number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in the Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits. You don't mean... I'm afraid, Your Honor, the code was 77777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant? You entered the evidence room on the day of the murder! Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Ooh, he's under pressure now. Nothing. The defense search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I'll demand Mr. Wright to be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You went to the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm the chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want? Tell me, when you went to the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Nope, Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, wouldn't he? Of course not! Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. Oh, you've seen him. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant. I believe you have seen him. And I don't know how to prove it, because I'm thinking about it as I'm saying it. I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Linus Guy's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. I can only submit it to the Chief of Police. This one! Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of this report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. Nope. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh, Detective Goodman took the form out from you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? Yep. There's no other way that murdering Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. How did the Chief of Police murder poor Goodman? Yep, exactly. But wait, the Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes, now that you mention it. Nope. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Ooh! Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would have chose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. Good job! You found it out now. End of the case. Gabriel Rice. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did you manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know? And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need. To prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue that was taking up space. How could the chief move the body? What was the useless clue? Go to the parking and the prosecutor. How could the chief move the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Gant used this. Parking. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Evidence, floor plans. Crime is committed. To move the body. Use this. The parking stub. This! This is how you move the victim's body. A parking stub. Oh, good, it worked. Thank God. Miles Edgeworth. You mean the body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you, I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me why. Ah! I was asked to go by Chief Gant. No less. So he was ordered to. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Edgeworth unknowingly brought the body back. So you see, what you were really taking the prosecutor wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. He unknowingly brought the victim back by order of the Chief of Police. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transfer evidence from a closed case? There's only one possible explanation. To transfer the body of your accomplice. As Miss Sky. Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Mr. Stark took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of a body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. This is exactly the opposite. It is a photo of a body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with my district attorney general after this. We have to get going as if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. No, you don't! But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons, like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it now. Well, you think I had land to dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon again is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusation against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? The proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and misguised supposed body. Do I have any concrete proof? I have no proof yet. There's no sure evidence. I'm not sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, G. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble with what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, G, I'll leave you there. See you. Shit. Did I frig up? I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an out front to your senior officer. Oh, shit! What? Lady Luck, huh? Maybe we should have a word with her. I thought I was about to get fricked with the penalty. But Edgeworth came in. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't had yet the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness! In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions. Raised in this trial, someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Haven't you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't stop now. Yes, Your Honor? The defense calls forth... her! Defendant, Miss Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her attest to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth. prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. It's in 50 minutes we will reconvene and hear the defendant's testimony. The court is now... Hold on, huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Ah! This isn't good. Of course you never support such outrageous claims anyways, right? Just something to think about. Alright then, I've got a lunch to meet. Okay, you are behind it. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. So the chief is behind it. February 5th, 2:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks for your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. Ha ha ha, I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure, I'll take the place of a top-notch girl who used to work with. Could you mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair, you always have the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. That if he you mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma! Are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery, so she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, sorry, what happened before? No, don't be, it was the truth. You know, it's funny, I almost felt somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I know what really happened. To think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by a terrible man, and she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone knew her. Everyone said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up to deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. And that must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blame yourself now. You want to blame anyone? Blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with this forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why didn't you wait? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Ray. Time to end this. To be continued. I want to finish this off! I want to do a marathon. I'm so eager to find out. I want to know. Oh, trial District Court, Quarter Number 9. Okay. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know what I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. Remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I arranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark and visit. It had nothing to do with ammo. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you gotta help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, there's no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. Hold it! What was your story? How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24, so that would have been 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why there's no truth to this blackmail theory. Hold it! But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much as you said yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years all ago by myself. Hold it! Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want the incident to ruin her life. But what she said was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana, so that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. Hold it! You say you did all this by yourself. Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But the Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's the only situation you dreamt was possible. The reality is, wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life? Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but it'll never change this incident. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that's what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh? That was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover for her sister with more lies. All just want to protect me. So when you found this scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, and moved the body. Hold it! So you planted the tip, and you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Mr. Edgeworth. You've already had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't as bad, but maybe I should ask for the sake of others. Why did you plant the knife? Why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright, even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this with this test. The reason Miss Skye fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon found carrying the body would be all the proof we needed. Hold it! According to the testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? And leaving that right away might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be to having the tip of the knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound. Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did. My only motivation was to get it had nothing to do with Emma. Hold it! So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it, period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence. She's lying. She did it truthfully. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I have done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to take you in. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up on making a contradiction. I broke off the tip but then planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. This one. So to help the serial killer, you gotta skip that part. Gotta get to that. When I rearranged the crime scene. There you go! You plant. But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't bad, but I thought I'd ask, why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim body? It was where you deduced it was by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. A piece of the jar that shattered during the events threatened by plan. Hold it! Piece of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first moved the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered into pieces. If you took the crime scene, it would be clear right what would happen anyways. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar was shattered at the time the crime scene was committed. But I have a feeling there's something more to that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. You know what? I'm gonna look at the walkthrough. I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it. I'm gonna cheat. Trial ladder 2. For the first 2 testimony. Was this ladder 2? Recess. Trial ladder 2. Alright. So this is the last part of it. Press, why do you move the body? She has the pieces of the jar scattered. Press the unstable jar. The name could only have been written on the jar before it was shattered, yet it was broken in the struggle. The judge has landed... What person the statement? Piece of the jar threatened my plan. Present the unstable jar on that statement. How did it threaten your plan? Objection! Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed the crime to protect your sister. You mean forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the 2 past year lives will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, the pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on the jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor's written his final moments. Exactly so. And so this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write this message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah! He couldn't have written Emma's name on his shattered jar! Order, order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed regarding the jar and this bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems that you're in the dark as we are, about the truth towards where we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue your testimony. ... Okay. Jar and message in blood. What time is it? 9. My god, I'm going through a 3-hour marathon. I immediately noticed the blood trace still on the jar, but it was a dark room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so that sure, I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. You know what? I'm closing this walkthrough. Alright, she didn't think Dark was the real murder. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Jar and message in blood. Alright, so I just see the live count, so... I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room. To be safe to wipe away the blood. The fragments are so large, I'm sure I got them all. I'm sure you didn't. Final fragment found in Chief Gant's safe. Emma was written on the surface of blood. Objection! Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found a final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about the final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified. Did she gather every last piece and wipe up the blood off of them? Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night the prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you're not the first one to show up at the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? Nope. I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are far too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that! There's no way the name could have been written on that shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gan at the time when he was looking for Dark. Nope! The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gann arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question, what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would the Chief Gann want to do that? In light of what happened afterwards, is it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her this aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark. Sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. No! I did it on my own! Stop lying. You frickin' bit your nail through the blood. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer more for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you. Emma, you didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that, coming from my own clients. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Oh, for crying out loud! Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Something's wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? No. Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma accidentally killing up Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there's a possibility that it will if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final chime. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on a suit of armor sword, and Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gann help me to remove the body and the sword from carrying it. But if it really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. This is a marathon. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword? You're the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took at the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought I might need it. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't know. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? It seems you remember getting something from her then. Let's check out the evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. I'm thinking. Friggin' I'm stumped. I don't remember. Actual crime scene, solving case. Lana's picture. Oh! The evidence law book. So that's what you gave. I forgot. You know what? Screw the walkthrough. Okay, so this is for Miss Skye. Explains the 2 rules of law. Peel. Huh? What the? Hey, there's a picture here. And it shows that he was impaled. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I arranged everything. I had a picture inserted in the court record. Yes, Mr. Wright! That piece cut from my... That piece cut from the vest, could that be? The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever's fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murder. Frickin' hell! That's the real picture, but something is off about this. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on his suit of armor. What the hell? Come now, Edgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. She can't? What, now you want to make me out as a bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two for the defense. Nope. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back and relax and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Ooh, so you can't say anything. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean? You still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt? Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you'll be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present the piece of evidence? That piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Show evidence cannot show evidence? I wonder what happens if I don't do it. But he said that I'd be in for inquiry, but I'm not concerned with that. Why wouldn't I be concerned with that? If I show it, it's just gonna give everybody the wrong idea, and there's no way I can argue around that. What if I don't show it? What then? It's gonna make him come out of his hiding spot? Cannot show evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this time. What? You lie, Chief Gant. You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why didn't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see, because you know the truth, don't you? You know his fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about? Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See that victim's vest? Know if there's anything odd about that chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence? This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, righto? Well, I can't just let you pin me up as a murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lena. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lena. It made me look like the blame on her sister. That's when I saw the scene. She would ask me for my... So you assisted Miss Skye. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it always best to be prepared for the worst. I was about to let anyone blame me for the murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on the jar too? Ho, ho, ho. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept 1 more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you haven't. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit it then, Chief Gantz, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murder. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any piece of evidence to present. Foolish move, Righto! You should have known it was too late. It's been a long battle, but the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up, victory is mine. Show evidence, cannot show evidence. Show evidence. Do it. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Bears and Misguided Prince. Here you go! Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of victim's vest. Oh, yes! At last, you finally brought it out to the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that it immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. That's handprint in the letter. There must have been strong impact for it left so clearly. You mean, it could not have been forged. It must be authentic. Conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho! You're slow on the uptick as weather, worthy. What? Think about it, right? I had all this time to present this evidence. Yet, he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on it? Mr. Wright. Do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... There we go. Emma Sky. What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma, but why? Why didn't you tell me? Not till the right time. Oh, ho, ho, ho! You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it is true, tragic but true. This girl really did move Prosecutor Marshall to his death. Jump. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky, you knew his fingerprints were there all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Nope. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too! You purposely concealed a conclusive piece of evidence that my friend is a serious offense. Dot, dot, dot. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. Dot, dot, dot. What's the matter? Cat caught your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned poor girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gang, you're absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It said it was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth... What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. Who could possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts the cloth. That it was cut from this jacket. That was all bloodied up. But the cloth is not bloodied up. Here! And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of the vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make it out with all the blood on the vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but this piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood on it. Ah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Miss Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No! This is nonsense! Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he shoved aside. Most likely he hit his head on the ground and is knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived on the scene before Miss Sky? Picked up an unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armor's sword. Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, personally proceeded to write the name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they even broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Did it? Remember when you made it only months ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of cloth of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Though this very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! The cover-up was what did it. It's finally all over. Or is it? Objection. Oh, ho, ho, ho! That was close, Fredo. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegation? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. What? Order! Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Reggie? Earlier, old writer here concealed that piece of cloth. Maybe I did it for a reason. So then, what's your excuse, Fredo? You have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of evidence ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair! Whoa! Do you actually think you can best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. I'm assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit, too, that you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of... That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? I did not. What if I say I did not? What then? I admit I refuse to present it at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal. Nope! That's not what I said. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. And why not? I think I know why. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. Ooh. Evidence law, isn't it? No, Edgy. Don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You really can't. Nope. There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is the evidence legal or not? Well, let's look at the evidence law book. Let's settle this once for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Here you go! This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. I've read the book. You can't present it. Let me just read it one more time. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department, which is that being Damon Gant. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case of trial. Well, it is. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in the book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department. Ooh. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You wanted relevancy? Just take a look at this picture and... Nope. Sorry, but can you recall? When was this picture presented? When it was shown only a few moments ago. No! He's right. The beginning of today's trial. That piece of cloth is still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You got yourself convicted by saying that evidence was relevant. You yourself confessed to the certain truth. Let me verify once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of victim's vest. Ah, yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before the prosecutor marshal in the final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person that could it be. Damn it, the killer was you! No. The hell is... What the hell? He just frickin' clapped so fast. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, you've been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet you insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. You wanted to reinvestigate the case. You recruited Angel Star and then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Woof! Goodman turned him down. As he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went to him with the evidence room, then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. Oh, there are too many questions unanswered. He opened this evidence locker and he was taking the evidence out. He said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when it came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might be stumbled in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worried so much that the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker was actually Damon Gant. I used to be known as a crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than its detectives will. Grr! Leaving the prosecution's car side. How? How could you get Miss Sky involved in all this? Well, she has had much to lose if the truth ever comes out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have time to panic and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments and the glove. Yeah, it looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. So you did do it. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them, they did their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why did you stand in court? What, me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. Nope. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring down once you try to go at it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Wedgie? What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Demon Gant. I know you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and a fine example to others of the Force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Edgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright here, and Worthy. And with these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sound of the... What? Never mind. So Demon Gant killed Dark. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes, first, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Demon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell you everything. All I've done in the past 2 years, from the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised up in the trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky, I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My. What high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, a few years from now, you just might make it to the top. What the hell? I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. That's the first time I've seen her smile. Miss Sky. And to you, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I had over these past few days, so believe me, I know how much an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job! In light of this case, it seems as good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky, yes, Your Honor, you're innocent of murder. However, although the Chief blackmailed you, the fact is still active. His accomplice, the trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on too far long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Sky, not guilty. I'm stewing in my own juices next to this heater, even though it's summertime and I'm boiling in my own skin. February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, it's not that. Just now after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Faith thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have these past few days. You've done so well. Complimenting both the defense and the prosecution. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. No! You get back here. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing it on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it all off, calling me here, I've been seeing happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh! Are you here because of my sister again? No, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Your sister. Lena Sky. Lena! Shouldn't you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. ... Well, I won't tell you if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could ever do is keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to do— what? Shit! I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared of that you'd look me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you're only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding I believed to be the truth. I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. By smiling serenely. Oh, Emma! Emma! No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. Make up for these small mistakes to be on the right path. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Or make out. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe, me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come out here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth, not only that, but I don't ever trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals, I can feel it, you and me. We're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known it quite true for some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, do you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma. We're both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. That may be true, but think back on today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Can you replace her to Jelly? Yes. What's the evidence? I don't want to frig up in the last one. Present the evidence list. Oh! Evidence list. Something the matter of Truth would not have been able to find on her own. The evidence list. Take that! That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That just didn't happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth! What will you do now? What now? Where are we going? Oh, there you are. Well, already you just remember. You can't let whatever happened to you kill the prosecutor in you, or you can't let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe my thanks too, Mr. Wright. But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in the court. ... Farewell. Okay. Goodbye. Bye-bye. I better get going too. Okay. But I'll be by to visit soon. Sure. Seems we have a lot to learn and catching up too. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. As for me, I think it's started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well? Don't go off tricking just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it'd be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a gardener to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Well, haha, you see, Mr. Wright, there's one... Here's the one... Mr. Wright is the one who would be footing the bill. Huh? What do you think? I couldn't afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it... I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay for it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Nope! Ugh. Oh. Oh. I arranged with a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under top corner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I should find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Oh! Oh! I need to use the washroom. Be right back. Okay, what happened? Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. Because you lied and committed perjury. As farewell, I put a new meal on the menu, the right way lunch. Top layer tastes bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is a sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot sale around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Ugh. Huh. I like this. I like it so much. That's why I enjoyed this. You like it because you played it with the walkthrough. The next one, I won't use a walkthrough. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing or something with her for how many years? Something or... Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I better be... Huh? Oh, no. I forgot my gavel. Sorry, I gotta go. Ow! Oh! Alright, 1 second. I'm gonna end the live stream after this, and I'm gonna play some Stardew Valley later. There's my FA. Ah! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your rejection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a fully fledged spirit medium. Kude, Mystic Maya, afternoon training is about to begin. Coming! Well, see you around, Nick! I haven't seen this, or have I? Can I skip it? Please? And thank you! Why? It's gonna take a while, isn't it? Fingerprint. Edgeworth, what do you have to say, Mr. Edgeworth? The bellboy. Mr. Edgeworth? I brought you your tea. What the? What's going on here? What's going on? A letter on his desk? What is he going to do? Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. That's the same train station that Maya was at. Whenever I want to see Lionel, all I have to do is open this book. The hell? I have to actually open it up. What the? What the hell? That's them when they were younger. Okay. Sure, why not? Yay. Capcom. Rise from the ashes, bronze trophy. Yes! Yes! There we go! Oh! 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 It hurt. Continue. So, next time, I'm gonna do justice for all. Oh, yeah. Because this one's gonna be fun. This is the next game I'm gonna play. Justice for all. Hopefully tomorrow. All right. Later.